Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and in this video, I want to talk to you about Dance at Sunset, Yunli's signature Lightcone, whether it's actually good to get it, even if you don't have Yunli, even if you have her, or perhaps you don't even have the resources and you want to find out the other alternatives to Yunli as well. We're going to cover that all in this video, but first things first, I just want to give you a very quick summary. I really like this Lightcone a lot. Its effects is crazy useful. The last time I seen a Lightcone like this and I really liked it so much was way back in like Kafka's Lightcone, because Kafka's Lightcone allowed you to basically, any character can become a DOT character because she is able to proc shock just with the Lightcone alone. So very fantastic. So let's look at the effect here. You have Deeply Engrossed, the effect here. And the one that I like most about it is this greatly increases odds that wearer will be attacked. If you notice that this line here is only familiar usually in preservation characters. And the Lightcone, for example, Japad has this in one of his trays. You have a lot of the Lightcones for preservation characters that has this, but this is the first time we are getting this on another class, another path, in this case a destruction path, which is very good. Can be used for a lot of characters as well. I'll talk about that in a bit. But most importantly here, you get a very generic nice 36% crit damage that most destruction DPSs would quite enjoy, maybe with the exception of Firefly, who still prefers like some sort of break effect. After the wearer uses their ultimate, they receive 1 stack of Fire Dance, and stacking up to 2 times, up to 2 stacks, lasts up to 2 turns for up to 2 stacks, so you can get 2 stacks in the max. For each stack of Fire Dance, increase the damage dealt by the wearer's follow-ups by 36%. So keyword, in order to be even more useful, you have to use out very often and you have to use follow attacks to get a 72% follow attack buff, 36% crit damage buff, and a greatly increase of attack. Very fantastic as well. So I really like this Lightcone a lot. But first things first, is it versatile? Because when we are forking that money, we want to know whether we can use it on other characters, because what if we don't get Yunli, or we want to like shift our gear around. So let me just switch the screen real quick. And here we have the different characters in the game. I think out of all of them, the destruction character, I don't have Clara on this account, so I'm going to use like Fucc as like a proxy, right? Clara can use it very well, but I think the character that is going to most benefit from it is actually Blade. Blade really wants to get attacked. He greatly draw aggro to himself. Every time he loses life, he builds his stacks, right? Once he has max stacks, he counters follow-ups attacks. He does out relatively quite often as well. If you build him slow, you don't build him for too much speed. Like for example, I didn't build him too much speed because he's just like a counter guy. Then he will have an uptime quite high as well. So you will have a very huge counter on his burst. He really likes it a lot. Compared to his signature Lightcone, they both offer him same amounts of HP. Slightly less HP in terms of the stats for the Yunli's Lightcone, but then again, instead of crit rate, you get the equivalent of crit damage. So all you're really doing is like trading HP off for follow-up attack damage buffing, which is quite massive. And considering that you have the increased aggro draw, it might be even in some situations better on him, especially if you are not running with like a character, for example like Lynx, who modifies the aggro draw with her skill ability as well. So out of all that, I think Blade benefits the most. Clara definitely benefits from it a lot also, because Clara likes to have aggro drawn. I know it's like, I know there's a data bank inside, but if I keep switching screens, you guys are going to be like all over the place, since I'm only just going to talk about Clara for a brief moment. The other characters that are good to have it also are, you can kind of put it on most people, because most of them can use crit damage. They don't mind being attacked, because if you notice, a lot of the destruction characters actually have some sort of sustain in their kit. Xue with Eidolons, I believe, has some sustain. Even Hook also has some sustain. I believe Misha also has some sustain in the kit. Firefly has their own sustain, but again, break effect is like much more preferred on a character like Firefly. You could use it also for the crit damage. It's still not the worst option, but she also has sustain, so she doesn't mind getting attacked. Most destruction characters do have some sort of sustain. I think Imbiber Tulune probably is like the only one that doesn't really have it. And Jingliu, if I'm not wrong, at least, it doesn't seem like they might have it, but the rest of them all do. So most of them can use it. The ones that I like most, Clara, Blade, Ireland can use it. Hook, I think, is also quite good on it. Xue definitely can if you are looking to build. So quite versatile. Even Misha might even use it too. doesn't mind getting the aggro draw, especially with Misha also has some sort of sustain. Not a lot, but it's still quite versatile, as you can see. Very, very versatile gear. So the next question, of course, which we're coming to the end of this is, do we really, really need to get it? Not all of us have the unlimited funds and resources in the game, and we do want to like save our resources for other future characters. So let's talk about some options. If you are in doubt, and I would summarize this section by saying that it's not necessary. It does add a lot of damage for her, but she's a relatively cheap free-to-play options available. I'll start things off with, of course, on the fall of an Aeon, you lose a little bit of attack, like 10 to 15% attack, but you still get a decent amount of attack over here. So you can stack up to 4 times, which gives her a massive amount of attack percentage already, which she scales off with. Inflicts weakness break on an enemy, the wearer's damage is increased by 24% for 2 turns. We all have this as super imposition 5. I really like this quite a lot on her. One of the ones that probably can use on the 4th Aeon quite well. I like it a lot. Very good free-to-play option if you don't know what to run. The other options that we have, I think maybe some of us might have this 5-star standard Lightcone, the Clara's Lightcone. This is also very nice. You defeat an enemy or is hit, you immediately heal a little bit more. Helps out with her survivability, her sustain. Gives her attack percentage that she really wants. It's good amounts of attack with better amounts of HP. So I like that as well. And at the same time, whereas damage is increased by 40% when they are attacked until the end of their next turn. This is very fantastic. You have like tons of damage buffing. Something irreplaceable. I think this is a very, very competitive Lightcone already. If you have it, you can just like shift it over real quick. No problem there. Other Lightcones that I can think of, I don't really like Secret Vow too much. Yeah, she hardly is wanting to play at such a low life, but she does tend to get hit quite often. Unfortunately, it doesn't have too much attack stat here. HP is like okay, but you deal more damage the lower your life is, so this is also not too bad, a general buffing. I do find that she's being played relatively lower life. If you are very good with your micro, you know when to exactly cast it, I do think that she's going to be playing at low life more often than not, but she has a 30% self-heal, so that often bumps it up very, very quickly, and then you're no longer doing as much damage. But up to you, depending on your gear, on your overall count. Let me focus on the other free-to-play Lightcones that everyone can get. Wolf Walk Time, not very useful. You need to burn or bleed. She doesn't really proc both in her kit. And I believe the next one is Most Welcome You. This is the other free-to-play one. This is okay as well if you have it, but then the better alternative is of course the 5-star equivalent. This one gives you like good amounts of attack, but for the sake of, on the 4th Aeon, gives you most of it already. Some of the other Lightcones here, since just put it towards the end, we have attack 32%, and when defeat enemy, crit rate 24% under the blue sky. This is decent. It's alright. It's not the best, unless you are fighting in like pure fiction game mode, which you hardly will play, or for some reason the enemy is like weak to a lot of physical, and you end up defeating a target. She's your hyper carry. Then I can see a case for under the blue sky. Flames Afar, is this free to play? I can't really remember. Maybe it's free to play. One of them is like not free to play. Then it's been a while. Whereas cumulative HP loss during one attack exceeds 25%, if the amount of their own HP consumed is greater than 25 of max HP, immediately heals, and at the same time increases the damage they deal for 2 turns. This helps with her survivability a bit more, especially she does take a lot of damage. But given that she has 20% damage reduction, she does need to take quite a bit of damage. You can check out the clip that we have on our channel already. I actually showcased an early release of her stats. She hardly takes like 25% damage in one go straight up. Usually hardly. So I don't think Flames Afar is going to be super useful for most content, unless it's a very specific niche content. Indelible Promise, this is a relatively new one. Break Effect, not super great on her. I wouldn't care too much about this to put it on her. And the Battle Pass one, which probably not many of you might have, I just want to like cover it as well. Increases attack by 24%, where defeats an enemy, restore 12% of attack based on their attack. This is nice, but then again, you much better use, for example, if you have it, something replaceable is like way better, or even on the 4th in Aeon is a decent option for a lot of damage bonus, a lot of attack. She does tend to break enemies' weakness quite easily, especially if she can get her powerful counter. And that is pretty much the summary of the Lightcone. If you like it, at the end of the day, it's up to you. I hope you found this video helpful and insightful at helping you manage your own spending. Remember, don't spend unnecessarily, and thank you guys again so much for watching. We do this every single patch, so like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.